valuable data on
That's
future
one.
performance, landing burns, and overall reusability. For the booster, the return to launch site option keeps open the possibility of another tower catch attempt using Mechazilla's
Why is it
chopsticks, building directly on lessons from
for
earlier
less?
flights. Elon also addressed Starship version 3's timeline. In a post on X, he confirmed that its maiden flight is now expected in about 4 to 6 weeks, placing it in the first half of May. That shift from an earlier April window gives SpaceX more time to refine what may be its most important Starship iteration yet. Version 3 is expected to form the foundation of the lunar lander NASA has selected for the Artemis program. Elon Musk has also stated that V3 is the Starship version that can make it to full reusability.
I don't know.
This
I want to
framework
go
reflects the
back to
deeper
that
purpose
account. It
behind
won't.
the updates. A reliable, orbit-capable Starship is the key enabler for Artemis. NASA is now targeting Artemis 3 in 2027 as a crewed low Earth orbit rehearsal where Orion will rendezvous and dock with a commercial lunar lander like the Starship HLS prototype. That mission will test life support, EVA systems, and docking procedures in orbit, serving as a direct precursor to the first crewed lunar landing on Artemis 4, currently targeted for early 2028. If those timelines hold, Starship V3 could very well be the vehicle that lands astronauts on the moon. SpaceX's approach remains consistent with its history. From early Starship prototypes through Flights 1 to 11, each launch has been treated as a data-gathering step. Flight 13 potentially reaching orbit fits directly into that progression. And crucially, SpaceX has made it clear this future extends beyond government contracts. On April 1st, Bloomberg reported that SpaceX has filed confidentially with the SEC for an initial public offering, positioning the company for a potential listing as early as June ahead of a major AI era IPO.
Wait, that's not that.
The company is reportedly
There's still way more.
$75
.com.
billion. For context, Saudi's Aramco's record high IPO raised $29 billion in 2019. So if SpaceX approaches that scale, it could reach a valuation well above $1.75 trillion, making it the largest initial public offering in history.
Damn, he got another draw.
This is pretty
Always
big. Investing in SpaceX means buying a piece of the vehicle that will land astronauts on the moon and will help build a future lunar base. It is a direct way to support the hardware behind NASA's Artemis program. Reports also suggest that up to 30% of shares could be allocated to retail investors, which would be unusually high for an offering of this size. And the momentum keeps building. This week, Intel announced it is joining Elon Musk's Terafab project alongside SpaceX, XAI,
I have no
and
memory
Tesla.
of anything, apparently.
The Terafab
including
is
some
Elon
very
Musk's most ambitious
But
project
do you have
yet.
memories of you
It
playing
envisions
with
a
matches
100
in your
million
notes?
square
No.
foot chip factory
None
that
whatsoever.
produces silicon for Optimus robots
Just
and
light.
Cybercabs on Earth
Who are-
and D3 chips for SpaceX's space-based data centers. On the Terafab's official website, SpaceX, Tesla, and XAI emphasize that the project is being pursued because we aspire to be a galactic civilization. Intel CEO Lip-Bu Tan shared his excitement for the 1 terawatt initiative, saying, quote, Elon has a proven track record of reimagining entire industries. This is exactly what is needed in semiconductor manufacturing today. Terafab represents a step change in how silicon logic, memory, and packaging will get built in the future. Elon responded with an equal amount of excitement, saying, looking forward to working with Intel on the Terafab. AI is moving fast, faster than most people realize. Even NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang says it's starting to feel like early AGI, and that means the gap between people who use AI and those who don't is about to get very real. But here's the important part. This isn't about replacing humans or killing creativity. It's about becoming more efficient at the work you're already doing so you can focus
Just feels like he has nothing.
while AI handles the repetitive stuff. So let me show you something useful. Outskill is an AI learning platform built to help you actually apply AI, not just watch videos about it.
I saw around 11. He also
Two-day AI Mastermind this weekend. In just 16 hours, they'll show you how to build AI agents that can automate work for you, connect
all
tools
the
like Sheets and Notion
there's the
to real
European
systems,
down. There's
basically save yourself hours every week. It's all taught by people from companies like NVIDIA and Microsoft who've been deep in this space from the start. You'll also get over $5,000 worth of bonuses, plus their AI survival handbook, just for signing up. It's free, and honestly, this is
a really low
right now. So grab your spot using the link in the description and get
like
ready before it starts.
Starwood.
Quick question. When was the last time you checked your phone plan? If you can't remember, chances are you're overpaying.
Starwood went
Tello's here to fix that. With 3 months of unlimited
down. There's a literal
rewards,
shit.
high high-speed data, unlimited talk and text, nationwide 5G coverage.
Those are the rare
$5
ones.
once, and you're set for your first 3 months. After that, it's just $25 a month. A smarter plan now and later. Head to Tello.com.
While SpaceX advances the hardware for NASA's return to the moon, Tesla is showing renewed strength in its core business. Tesla is once again the world's biggest maker of pure battery electric vehicles. In the first quarter of 2026, Tesla delivered 358,023 vehicles worldwide, which represents a 6.5% increase compared to the same period last year. This performance allowed Tesla to reclaim the top spot from Chinese rival BYD. BYD sold 310,389 pure battery electric vehicles in the same quarter, a drop of more than 25% year over year. In Europe, Tesla posted strong gains after a difficult 2025. March registrations surged across the continent.
Can't do that. He has to.
Registrations more than tripled. In Norway, they more than doubled. Sweden saw a 144% increase.
That's actually.
Denmark climbed 96%. Germany also showed solid improvement, with registrations quadrupling in March to over 9,200 vehicles. That represents Tesla Germany's best March ever. These increases come after Tesla lost significant market share in Europe last year. 2025 was a challenging year for Tesla, thanks in part to a pause in sales in the first quarter due to the changeover to the new Model Y, intensifying competition, and anti-Tesla sentiment brought on by Elon Musk's politics. Despite all this, the recent uptick in Europe points to strong demand for the Model 3 and Model Y, even in markets where they are competing with more affordable rivals. The momentum extends well beyond Europe, though. In South Korea, Tesla posted dramatic growth. The company delivered
It's just the normal.
in March
The
alone,
idea
a 330% jump from the previous year. For the full first
Or
quarter,
basically
Tesla sold nearly
can't
22,000
castle on that
vehicles,
side. That's why it's
becoming
actually.
the number one imported car brand overall, ahead of traditional luxury names like BMW.
And it's only
Mercedes.
1 point
That marks the first time Tesla has taken the quarterly top
in
spot
one.
on imported vehicles in South Korea. When you put all this together, these figures show Tesla regaining ground in important international markets at the same time. Even with slower growth in some regions, the company has proven that it can reclaim its title as the world's number one battery electric vehicle maker, even in an increasingly challenging market. While SpaceX pushes towards the moon and Tesla regains its lead in global EV sales, the company is quietly closing a major chapter in its history. The Tesla Model S and Model X era is ending. Elon Musk announced it directly on X, saying, quote, "Custom orders of the Tesla Model S and X have come to an end. All that's left are some inventory. We will have an official ceremony to mark the ending of an era. I love those cars."
I think that's a.
That announcement marks the beginning of the phase out for Tesla's original flagship sedan and SUV. Only the vehicles currently sitting in inventory remain available for purchase, and those final units just became more expensive. Tesla raised the price on all remaining new and demo Model S and Model X vehicles by $15,000. In simple terms, this is Tesla's way of winding down production of the S and X while protecting resale value for existing owners. The final inventory is being sold at a premium because supply is now extremely limited. So it really is the end of an era. The Model S was Tesla's first real production car that proved electric vehicles could be fast, luxurious, and practical for everyday driving. It launched in 2020 and changed how the world thought about EVs. In an interview, George
I shouldn't
Brennan,
have done.
one of the early leaders at Tesla, shared an emotional story about those early days. He described how the company was fighting for survival, delivering just 12 cars in an entire quarter at one point, and how the team pushed to hit exactly 4,750 deliveries in Q1 2013 to turn a profit and keep the company alive. The decision to stop custom orders makes practical sense for Tesla right now. The Fremont factory lines that built the S and X are being shifted to make room for the pilot production line of Optimus, which is expected to produce 1 million units of the humanoid robot per year. Even so, the Model S and Model X will be remembered as the cars that proved Tesla could compete at the very top of the luxury market. They introduced the world to features like ludicrous mode, Falcon Wing doors on the X, and over-the-air updates that kept the cars improving years after purchase. Tesla has not said exactly when the last Model S and Model X will sell out or when the official farewell ceremony will happen, but once the current inventory is gone, these two models will join the history books as the vehicles that helped launch the entire
I didn't think it would
revolution.
be that bad. I mean, he was rated better
I
than
got Verizon Fios.
Phil.
It's 100% fiber internet because I do everything at 100%.
What game?
Serena's are
100% of them.
She hits a
Penalty kick.
out of the park.
From way downtown for a beautiful shot onto the green.
You either have 100% fiber internet or you don't. Get Verizon Fios. It's super fast and reliable with ultra low lag. It's 100% or nothing. Call 1-833-VERIZON to switch today.
Go teams!
The International Space Station is one of the most complex objects ever created. A machine the size of a football field, built piece by piece in one of the harshest environments imaginable. And we have animated every step.
on.
Over 2 decades,
Yeah, I
using
still
some of the
have
most
to.
powerful rockets ever created, we launched hundreds of tons of equipment into orbit. Each truss, module, and power system maneuvered into place by robotic arms, often guided
And-
by astronauts'
oh,
hands
it's,
suspended in the void
Earth.
while hurtling around
Iron.
at 8 kilometers per second. A one-of-a-kind construction problem. With the inherent vulnerability of life in orbit
Iron.
present, simple malfunctions become life-threatening problems. Minor damage caused by space debris can turn into a high-voltage repair mission, where one spark can turn an astronaut's oxygen-rich sanctuary into a nightmarish inferno.
And of course, my spacesuit has a Kevlar outer, but there are metal wrist disconnects and other metal parts of my spacesuit that could allow for electricity to conduct into the 100% oxygen environment of my spacesuit, which would be very flammable. It would be a very bad day for me.
That's Dr. Scott Parazinski.
It's not even a bad move. It's like fine. It's a bit bad. I heard on chess.com. It's like considered an inaccurate.
5 space shuttle missions and has visited the ISS twice. And I spoke to him to get some first-hand stories of what it's like to be strapped to the end of a robotic arm in space, trying to repair a damaged solar panel with spare parts. But the ISS is more than just a satellite. It's a home, it's
Wait,
a
I can-
place, it's one of humanity's
Oh, but
greatest
then if I
achievements.
take this
ISS
one,
has hosted life, science,
can
and
take-
stories. But after decades of unprecedented international cooperation, its time is coming to an end. Soon, this
but he's not British because he says Arab.
atmosphere,
So
tearing
he's
itself
Irish.
apart in a fiery
But
re-entry,
similar.
destroying all that hard work in a matter of
Ah,
minutes. Before that
yeah,
final
it's
blaze,
Irish.
let's rewind time and dive into the monumental engineering challenge of building this machine. This is the incredible story of the ISS.
ISIS.
In late
The
1958,
ISS.
a Proton rocket cracked the sky over Russia, carrying a strange new object to orbit. It was called Zarya, meaning sunrise. Zarya was no mere satellite. It was a powered spacecraft, a control module, equipped with attitude controls, batteries, fuel, solar panels, and propulsion. A starter engine for a space station not yet born. Just 2 weeks later, the space shuttle Endeavour launched from Florida. Its gigantic cargo hold carrying the next module of the ISS, Unity. With the historic moment of the 2 internationally owned spacecraft coming together caught on film. Unity is a short, stubby, 5.4 meter long cylinder without much space for
I
life
can
on its
go
ground.
here. Then
Instead,
oh, but I
Unity
can't.
acts as a connecting hub. Along its walls, you'll see
Can
4
just
docking
plant
ports,
his.
plus 2 more on its ends that in the future will all be used to build up the space station.
I
Here
don't.
it is in its current configuration on the ISS, but these docking ports could not be directly docked to the orbiting Zarya.
I mean,
2
it's
spacecraft in orbit has never been simple.
like the good move to go for a pump, but I mean, you can trap my rook. That's a way worse thing.
The early Apollo and Soyuz craft used a probe and drogue.
But if I do this, then I can.
for small capsules,
But I
offering
still
only a
don't.
narrow passageway between vehicles.
The right thing.
While fine for crew transfer
Sure.
or modest resupply,
Maybe it'll
it
be
wasn't designed
worse
to
to
support the scale and complexity of a
Oh, no,
brand-new
it's
crewed station.
this and that.
Later, during the shuttle
This, and then I
program,
sacrifice
American
my.
and Russian engineers developed
Actually,
an androgynous peripheral
I don't
launch
know.
system. The androgynous name comes from the
Yeah.
fact that both the target
Fine, I
and the
didn't go
receiving
for
end look identical, with no male or female parts, with the goal
Parts.
of this being a
Male
universal
or
dock
female
system,
parts.
allowing any 2 spacecraft to dock
That's
together
funny.
as Goddard intended. Each side had a ring with 3 petals equally distributed. One side extended
I
its
wanna
mating
do
ring
that.
with a soft capture, where the 3 petals of each side come together and connect with these latches. At this point, the soft capture ring is retracted and 12 latches engage to form an airtight connection between the 2 spacecraft. The Mir station served
Bro, I'm
as a
doing
testing
so
ground
good,
for
I
the
just
ISS,
need to not
and while
mess
the
up.
ISS was still in its planning stages, a Progress cargo ship slammed into Mir during a manual docking attempt, tearing into one of the station's modules, a stark reminder of how risky orbital dockings could be.
Damn.
Dr. Scott Parazinski was aboard the first mission back to Mir after this collision.
I mean,
The warmest,
I think it's the good
physical
move to.
welcome to the Mir
I don't
space
see.
station when we arrived during STS-86. There had been
But after, yeah, no, I don't see that.
Spectrum
It's.
module, so you could actually see even from quite a ways
I just
away,
saw that the last
solar
one.
panels on the
Wait, I think
outside
this
the
is.
space station.
Oh,
And
what?
these
This is
tubes,
actually.
and
Realize how.
they were mangled. You could see sort of a divot in one of the radiator panels. This is a pretty beat up space station that we were approaching. On top of that, the orientation of the space station really was ajar. And as you know, our commander Jim Weatherby was approaching, and I was supporting him using
I'll do it.
camera systems and our computer systems to help make angular corrections to prepare us
Damn,
for
I didn't.
docking. It was 6.5 degrees off axis. It was substantially off. Really
Damn, I kind of.
and we
Something
weren't sure
crazy,
if there
yeah.
was a
I
problem
didn't
with
even
the
think I
navigation
could do
system,
that,
with
by
our
the way.
sensors,
But I.
maybe the fact that the
I mean,
space
this
station
one
had been clobbered
needs to be
weeks
guarded, but
earlier,
I'll.
that, there
This
was
one
some
is.
problem going on with the
Burn.
guidance, navigation, and control system of the Mir space station. Ultimately, we found out that the crew aboard the space station Mir had done a star alignment procedure. That's how you kind of coordinate or calibrate your systems. They had essentially chosen the wrong star.
Aboard the shuttle, the crew had to fly in their spacecraft by hand. The androgynous docking system depended entirely on both vehicles being perfectly aligned and flown together with precision.
I
Using
mean,
laser rangefinders and an
I don't know what I
calculator,
can do, but
delicate
to
course
be honest,
corrections
it's
could
gonna be
guide
better anyway.
The final approach that we had to the Mir space
Like,
station
I'm just
was
gonna
very dynamic.
play
You weren't
safely
sure
and
you're on your
I
approach.
do it
You're
correctly.
moving relatively slowly, but in relative space. But you're traveling at 17,500 miles
this
around
and
the
that.
planet, and you've got
I can't do that.
enormous space.
I don't know how to develop, but the thing is, it'll probably work out.
Potentially damage a solar panel on the outside of their space
I'm
station.
up.
You don't want to
Play-
contaminate
play
other parts of
correct.
the space shuttle. And so there was
To be honest, I don't know.
But we followed our
what that
training and
looks-
our procedures. We were able to identify the misalignment
Okay.
between the two
I can
spacecraft. And Mike Bloomfield, the pilot on board, input the offsets.
Oh yeah, looking for a queen trade is
using
good
some
when you're up.
grids on our camera systems, and we aligned the two
I can do.
docking systems exactly as they needed to be, and we came in for a successful docking.
And if he is, I
It
think
was,
that's also.
certainly something that we had never experienced before in the Shuttle Mir program, and we were our hearts were racing. Let me just put it that way.
In the background, while these events are playing out, NASA had already started their own design of an American-only station called
Yeah, you
Freedom.
can clearly.
NASA had already chosen a
Irish.
different mechanism to physically connect modules.
Irish.
They called it the Common Berthing Mechanism. This isn't a docking system, it's a berthing system. That means modules aren't flying in and bumping
Know what?
into the station.
Or
under
he
their
got
own
it where he wants.
Instead, they're carefully
I'll
grabbed
s-
and maneuvered into place.
I'll
It was
still
a
take.
big improvement over
It's
the
still
existing
good
system.
But,
What should I do, though?
We got into the kind of the core of the base block of the
Final
space
to
station.
Allah.
They had examples of probe and drogue docking
I
systems,
do.
which actually
This
required
is.
this large
Yeah, but
probe
this
to
guy's
be
here.
rotated inside
So I don't
the
know what to.
volume of the space station. It took a lot of space. And it actually required some, kind of interesting
Look here.
gymnastics and fancy flight to get around these probes to get where you wanted to go.
You've said it before. This will only take a second. Just a quick glance. A fast reply. But on the road, seconds don't wait for you. They decide everything. Who stops, who doesn't, who makes it home. So
I mean,
next time
trading
you're
down
outside,
material is
ask
actually
yourself,
good because
Is this distraction
Then I
worth a ticket or even a life? Put the phone away
traded
or
more.
pay. Paid for by NITSA.
I'm not really. Usually I win by a lot. Usually one side wins by a lot in this.
And built around the world, it was decided that it would be really important to be able to transfer very large installations, lab racks included, through hatches. And so we developed the common berthing mechanism, which had a much larger cross-sectional area that allowed us to essentially transfer things the size of, say, a telephone booth almost, full racks of
I mean, there's nothing.
Be kind of the cornerstone of the science and the operations of the International Space Station.
Later, in the International Space Station's construction, the Italian-built Leonardo, Raffaello, and Donatello modules used this larger berthing system to deliver tons of cargo to the space station. But the berthing mechanism doesn't come without drawbacks. The electric and fluid connections and bolting sequence take time to perform, so berthing is less ideal for emergency situations or rapid vehicle departure. Crewed missions still rely on the androgynous docking system. This is why Unity went up with 2 dongles attached to its ends. These are the first 2 pressure mating adapters that are still docked to the ISS. This side is attached to the androgynous system and the other side to the American berthing mechanism. Their small size and flexibility meant that over the construction of the ISS, they would be moved between nodes and attachment points to open up the possibilities for the spaceship to dock anywhere. 2 modules were now pressurized, but before these modules were launched, one crucial decision.
I mean, I can back up from. I think I will have.
Station fly. This decision began with NASA's Space Station Freedom. It was meant to fly solo in a 28-degree orbit, good for launching from Florida, but unreachable from Soviet launch sites in Kazakhstan. After the Cold War, plans shifted. The orbit changed to 51.6 degrees to bring in Russia. That number might seem arbitrary, but it was calculated down to the 10th of a degree. With this large inclination, the station passes more populated areas. The specific 10th of a degree comes because launching from Baikonur at exactly 51.6 degrees, the rocket would barely scratch the border.
But now he's probably gonna move back.
No spent booster stages from Russian
Wait, I can do this now. I don't know why he did.
The 51.6 degree inclination affects how the station is oriented with comparison to the Sun and Earth, and that would bring some problems when the giant solar panels of the ISS were put in place, but more on that later. In the early 2000s, the International Space Station was still just a shell.
Bro, I love the Iris.
Quietly orbiting Earth, empty. And
wait, this one.
By the end of the year, it will become a home.
I don't see why I can't take that.
That was about to add a lot more complexity to this operation. How do you
turn I should do
a
that.
Satellite into a place where people can live
unless he does this.
Day? To keep humans alive in space, the station needed control, air, cooling, and livable space. And all
but I couldn't do that earlier.
Less than 12 months. It started with Zvezda, launched in July 2000 atop a Russian Proton rocket, with the Pizza Hut logo plastered on its side to help offset the launch costs. Zvezda automatically docked here behind Zarya. It had an electrolysis system to split water into oxygen and hydrogen. It had carbon dioxide scrubbers, filters to manage humidity, and fans to circulate air that in zero-G would not convect heat. It also carried part of the thermal control system, a polymethyl siloxane loop that helped keep cabin temperatures safe and stable. With the station getting larger, it's nice to have a sense of direction. Like any other vessel, the ISS can be divided into port and starboard, and forward and aft.
Wait, I can
free-flying space without a horizon. Extra directions matter. Zenith and a deer pointing down toward it. Once the station had a habitable module,
and then he's gonna
add systems for control and expand.
I could also
during STS-92, the shuttle Discovery docked to the forward port of Unity. Using the Canadarm, astronauts removed a pressurized truss segment from the payload bay and mounted it.
Bro, this guy's, I bet he's one of the biggest Irish youth. Oh.
This is easily one of the best AI tools available for video creators right now.
Our glorious, precious ceasefire in the Middle East is apparently coming to a close before it even really began. Oh, the sweetness of the ceasefire. Well, actually, here in Israel, we never really felt the ceasefire, considering we've had rockets fired at us
That's in a long.
since the ceasefire
There's like
began.
one or two.
I'm Tal the Traveling Clat, your sweet Zionist prince. If you want to be a sweet Zionist prince or princess just like me, get the merch down below in the description of thetravelingclad.com. Here is U.S. Vice
I hope I
President
win this.
J.D. Vance in
By the way, I don't know what it is, but I feel like
rounds of negotiations in Islamabad.
the question when
J.D.
for
Vance
me
was sent
I lose less.
The U.S. did not
Don't know.
reach an agreement with Iran.
At it now for 21 hours, and we've had a number of substantive discussions with the Iranians. That's the good news. The bad news is that we have not reached an agreement, and I think that's bad news for Iran much more than it's bad news for the United States of America. So we go back to the United States having not come to an agreement. We've made very clear what our red lines are, what things we're willing to accommodate them on, and what things we're not willing to accommodate them on. And we've made that as clear as we possibly could. And they have chosen
pretty crazy
to accept our terms. Questions?
Nick Robertson from CNN.
Damn.
Now for
So great. Should I go back to sleeping in the bomb shelter tonight? I don't really know.
Sure.
What does
Has
it
to.
mean? Someone tell me what happens.
Just the good, but let's say he does the worst.
What's happening?
Precisely what have they rejected here? Can you help us understand it a little bit?
Well, I won't go into all the details because I don't want to negotiate in public after we negotiated for 21 hours in private. But the simple fact is that we need to see an affirmative commitment that they will not seek a nuclear weapon, and they will not seek the tools that would enable them to quickly achieve a nuclear weapon. That is the core goal of the President of the United States.
I mean,
what
that's
we're
still
trying to
crazy.
achieve through these negotiations. Again, their nuclear program, such as it is,
Actually, I'm not
the
sure.
enrichment facilities that they've
If I do that, he just.
they've been destroyed. But the simple question is, do
Not that
you
bad.
see a fundamental commitment of will for the
Wait, how did
Iranians
he get that
not to
extra?
develop a nuclear weapon, not just now, not just 2 years from now, but for the long
Oh
term?
yeah,
We
because
haven't
there
seen
was
it yet.
a.
We hope that we will.
Precisely what?
The issue is, if the U.S. goes back to fighting, the American people definitely have the willpower to stop a war from happening by just causing a muck. And the problem is, you haven't convinced the American people that this war is worthy. Even though this war is worthy, they just haven't, the U.S. administration hasn't been able to convince the American public because there's been so much disinformation and propaganda, pro-Iran propaganda, anti-Jewish and anti-Israel propaganda. It's become impossible. But U.S. ships are apparently clearing the Straits of Hormuz.
So perhaps those guided missile destroyers will go a long way to opening up the Strait of Hormuz that the president wants to see happen. And a lot of the Iranian delegation is happy to see the vice president here. They think the talks with
So I'm like, okay.
Jared Kushner did not go well before the war in the two separate sets of talks. Some officials I've spoken to, guys, say if Iran's going to be collecting tolls in the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. Navy should be doing the same thing, stopping Iranian warships and collecting tolls as a way to settle this, but certainly sending those ships through. Some officials think that dealing with Iran is like dealing with the devil and think this war will not end until Karg Island is seized. Guys?
All right, Lucas Thomason, live for us in Islamabad. A lot of good things there.
Islamabad.
Lucas, thank you. In adding to Lucas's reporting, just moments ago, President Trump on Truth Social saying in part, we're now starting the process of clearing out the Strait of Hormuz as a favor to countries all over the world, including China, Japan, South Korea, France, Germany, and many others. Kayla, let's go back to you. Where do you see this going?
I see this as a shame unless our NATO allies are stepping up. And
I agree with that, by the way. It is a shame that the NATO allies don't want to get involved. I bet there's some nefarious shit going on underground with Islamists, not with Iran. While everybody claims there's a Jewish conspiracy going on, I bet the Islamists actually have a conspiracy of their own going on underground that we don't know about that is causing a lot of these Western nations to not want to get involved in clearing a strait that they actually use every single day to keep their countries alive. And Iran proved, the Islamic regime of Iran, that is, proved that we can't allow them to be in charge of it anymore. The U.S. military intends to deploy underwater drones to sweep the Strait of Hormuz to clear Iranian mines, apparently.
Force on the Strait of Hormuz, and we had not heard any reports of any ships, United States ships going on the strait until now. U.S. CENTCOM writing that the USS Michael Murphy and the USS Frank E. Peterson are searching for any Iranian mines while trying to establish a clear and safe path. Underwater drones will also be used in the coming days. Now, the Strait of Hormuz is considered very treacherous right now, as the New York Times reports Iran may not be able to fully detect where the Iranian regime may have dropped mines. CENTCOM writing, today we begin the process of establishing a new
Could be a draw to be. I have a good pawn structure. That's
to encourage the free flow of commerce. Now, since Tuesday's ceasefire, roughly more than a dozen ships have passed through the strait, but that's a fraction of the usual number. Iran's blockage has created multiple global problems, including a shortage of jet fuel. President Trump is even trying to attract empty tankers to the U.S., writing massive numbers of completely empty oil tankers, some of the largest anywhere in the world, are heading right now to the United States to load up with the best and sweetest oil and gas anywhere in the world. We have more oil than the next two largest oil economies combined and higher quality. We are waiting for you. Quick turnaround. President Donald J. Trump. Now back here in the Middle East, Israel announced today that it struck more than 200 targets of what it claims are Hezbollah terror sites in southern Lebanon over the past day. And the Prime Minister of Lebanon was scheduled to travel to Washington for meetings next.
So there you go. Donald Trump is making lemonade out of the lemons in this situation. And Iran apparently just stated, the Islamic regime of Iran that is, they have no plans for the next round of talks. They're walking around real confident with zero fucking plan. Real fucking confident they're walking around. I am curious, though, what the hell does this mean? Are we going back to war? I mean, it seems like we are going back to war, right?
Well, if China does that, China's going to have big problems, okay?
Trump, in classic Trump fashion, does not take shit from China. I don't think China is planning on shipping weapons back to Iran. I just don't believe it. I have no intention to believe something like that. I don't think China currently wants that heat, especially when they're about to invade Taiwan. It's happening in the next 5 years for sure. They're probably going to wait for the next election to see who gets in power and how they're going to go about doing it. But I would not bet on China assisting Iran right now. The Islamic regime of Iran has zero cards to play internationally right now. Not Russia nor China is really helping them do anything. Like, Russia's kind of helped them just be terrorists, but that's what Russia kind of does. Like, the Russian government just kind of helps.
To be honest, I feel like this one is way
Here's Steven Crowder.
that I just have
slams
to.
U.S.-Iran war critics.
Are you comfortable with that kind of language from the President of the United States, from the guy sitting in the Oval Office, publicly?
Well, which part of it? Which part of it? If we're talking naughty words, I don't care. I didn't elect Donald Trump because I thought he was a pastor. I didn't vote for him because I think even necessarily that he's a devout Christian. I thought it was trolling. I actually laughed pretty hard at the praise be to Allah. I do think it was ill-advised to say whole civilization. And the reason why is because you see a lot of people, and this is again about applying it equally. Donald Trump has done a pretty good job, and certainly Marco Rubio, in delineating between the Iranian people and the regime. I think we probably agree there are very few governments, if any, that are in more diametric opposition to the people they govern than the IRGC.
Bro, it's possible. I
mean, we don't get very accurate polling out of there, as you tend to not get out of.
To be honest, the most possible is a draw.
The Iranian people support the help, support the military intervention. Doesn't mean that it's our job, to be clear. That's a conversation to have stateside, domestically. But separating between the
that's actually good one.
People is important. Donald Trump has done that consistently. He didn't do that with his phrase here. I definitely think that did him no favors. On the flip side, when I see people saying World War III, and I see people saying he's killing innocent civilians, we're bombing brown people, we're killing Iranians, I go, well, hold on a second. You guys never delineate between the IRGC and the Iranian people. I also think that it's undergirded by the fact that if remarkably inconsistent and ill-advised, he did say, God bless the Iranian people in that same post, which would seem to clarify and be consistent with what he just said 12 hours earlier, right? People were offended. Keep in mind, 12 hours earlier, they said, do you think this is a war crime? And I think it's no, because they're animals and they killed 40. The number always goes up. Maybe 60, maybe 120,000 of their old people. Wow, they're animals. People say, I can't believe he would say that. But he did say, no. Targeting military sites targeting strategic infrastructure to do away with a totalitarian and I would argue evil, satanic regime, the IRGC, is not a war crime because the people want it and support it.
But
Doesn't mean that it's
so Stephen, where does it sit with, you know, Trump, obviously the campaigner in 2024 was absolutely emphatic. I will not drag America into any more senseless wars, particularly in the Middle East. And here he is.
But it's not as senseless.
The biggest Middle Eastern war.
He said no words, and I guess he kind of contradicted it. But he also, like, caused a lot of...
All these people on the right, Marjorie Taylor Greene, there's a real split on the Conservative and it's really bubbled up and boiled over with the Iran war. Why do you think that is? Why? I mean, if you go back 20, 30 years, there would have been complete unanimity about a Republican strike of this nature. It wouldn't have been, there would have been no split. But there's a real split here, ideologically, between what people believe
damn.
people are voting for and what they think they get.
Wait, that's still good.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's as
I
big
just
with the
figured
vote
out
as there are commentators. For example, my perspective has been I supported the strike on the enrichment facility, and I said give this 3 months, and then I'll have to reassess it because I know there's information that I cannot have on Iran as it pertains to national security. I would say that would be due largely to their own ignorance because anyone who thinks that Donald Trump has been anything other than consistent, going back to the 1980s, which is kind of a marvel. The only reason we're able to have this long of a consistent track record for any president is because he was a celebrity. He's always said Iran cannot have a nuke. They will never have a nuke. That was what he said that day of that famous escalator ride. It was part and parcel of that.
You know what?
speech.
That's
Anyone who thinks that Donald Trump being tough on Iran is a betrayal is simply uneducated and didn't listen to him. And you could also argue, and I think there are two reasonable sides on this issue. I don't think war criminal. I don't think genocide is one of them. You could argue that he's ending a 47-year war, and it's right in line with his promises. When I hear people say, why would we strike Iran? They've never done anything to us. You hear that a lot. Many, many, many Americans, hundreds, if not over 1,000, depending on the numbers, and they've pledged to kill many more. It comes down to that discussion and when you want to deal with this issue.
Grainger knows that as an HVAC technician, the heat is on you every day. Your first call? An office building with a noisy AC unit. Time to put your experience to work. On site, your motors don't lie, the blower motor's failing. But Grainger's easy-to-search website quickly helps you find what you need to keep the office and their HVAC running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
No, he traded a queen and got 3. It's basically trading the queen is one of the biggest.
Specifically, one
of the biggest.
He had a Trump's tweet that the destruction of the civilization. He obviously didn't mean he was going after the people of Iran. Like, it was the dumbest fucking talking point in the world when I saw idiots like Anna Kasparian making a big, like, what, he's going to kill all the Iranian people? Obviously not. Obviously not. That's not what he meant. He knows how to threaten an Islamist. He knows how to do it. And this other point that Piers Morgan, this dumbass, brings up, which is a senseless war. This is anything but a senseless war. It is a war. It's not a senseless war. But don't remember, Donald Trump is the same person you voted for that when asked if he was going to bomb ISIS, he said he'd bomb the shit out of them. So let's remember who we voted for. And the last clip here is of Tucker Carlson being a Qatari shill again. And apparently CNN pollster shows that President Trump is crushing Tucker.
Let's start off with Tucker Carlson, who has been in absolute free fall with Republicans. I mean, just take a look at this. Look at this trend line. Tucker Carlson's net favorable. Back in March of 2024, when he and Donald Trump were very close friends, look at this. He was at plus 54 points. Look at where he is today at only plus 7 points among Republicans, and that includes GOP-leaning independents. I mean, that is a drop of what, 47 percentage points. My goodness gracious, when you go up against Donald Trump and you want to appeal to the Republican base, to quote the movie Good,
that's good.
On the grinder, and that is exactly what
that's even. I still would think that's bad. I still think he should negative, but I mean that's better.
What are they basically saying?
Tucker Carlson is a
every single
I don't like him.
Okay, the exact same poll, this UMass Lowell poll. Look at this. Net favorables among Republicans. Again, this is
I didn't know that and provides so many right wing. Like maybe they're more.
And this is actually a little bit low for Donald Trump. In other polls around the same time, he was even higher than this. Again, he is crushing Tucker Carlson. What is this? This is a 54-point advantage for Donald Trump over Tucker Carlson.
Wait, what?
Who is more popular among Republican voters? And of course, this is even just talking about the MAGA base, where Donald Trump is running an approval rating somewhere between 97 and 100%.
Okay, so what does this mean for Tucker
Does
Carlson
he
going
do?
forward? Say Tucker Carlson wanted to build some kind of a platform where he could run for office, say, president.
Yeah, okay. So you see Donald Trump crushing Tucker Carlson here. Take a look at this. Look at the Kalshi prediction markets when it comes to his chance, Tucker Carlson's chance to be the 2028 GOP nominee for president. It's just 5. When you can put it on one hand, you know it's low. It's just 5% that Tucker Carlson actually has enough support within the GOP, at least those who are putting their money where their mouth is, to actually be the GOP nominee in 2028.
That's more than I remember.
Running well ahead of him.
Okay, so again, in this imaginary world, you know, if the prediction markets are wrong, Tucker Carlson were to become a candidate, how might he do?
Okay, why don't we take a look against the most likely Democratic
Wait, he
nominee,
has to
Gavin
be
Newsom. And this is, I think,
here.
so important because
That's
it's not just that Tucker Carlson struggles now with Republicans. He is
Can't go here.
when it comes to general
Then yeah, and then it wouldn't be that good. But he can't even go to the.
28 presidential matchup.
Uh,
Against Tucker Carlson, look at this. Gavin Newsom crushes Tucker Carlson by 11 points. J.D. Vance actually beat Gavin Newsom in this poll by 3. So Tucker Carlson, very much struggling, runs way behind the GOP baseline in the general election as well.
You pick Newsom because he's leading in some of these early polls.
Yeah, they're smart for choosing.
Interesting. Vance
Market.
beats him right now, but Tucker Carlson, not so much.
Not so much. Not well liked among Republicans and not well liked, hated among the general electorate.
Harry Etten, thank you very much.
I know.
Have a lovely
I hope
day.
it'll stay that way, but like they're not gonna probably be unestablished so long.
Politics.
Like I want it to be that way, but
and a Republican
probably
leaders
can't
that wanted him to be a
established
Republican.
for that long. They'll probably get
Well, here's the newest update from 6
a
minutes
good
ago.
candidate by the time it's.
Chief of Staff via IDF immediate readiness to return to war with Iran. I am looking right now as this video is going on of airspace closures. Apparently, a lot of the airspace in Israel is closing right now. So it looks like momentarily. I mean, it could be in the next hour or so.
Well, look, I'm happy.
Right back to war. We're probably waiting.
Gonna happen again. I just.
And readiness to go.
I'm kind of spoiled compared to my nation in Israel.
But it seems like the war with Iran is back.
Like I'm very spoiled.
A tweet.
Because I don't need a care.
Donald Trump. So here's what it says. Sorry, I'll zoom this in a little bit more for you guys. Iran promised to open the Strait of Hormuz, and they knowingly failed to do so. It's caused anxiety, dislocation, and pain to many people and countries throughout the world. They say they put mines in the water, and even throughout their even though all their navy, most of their mine droppers have been completely blown up. They may have done so, but what ship owners would want to take the chance? This is a great dishonor and permanent reputation of Iran and what's left of the leaders. But we are all beyond that. And they promised. They began. They began the process of getting this international waterway open and fast. Every law
I don't know how that.
Violated by them. I've been fully debriefed by J.D. Vance, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner on the meeting that took place in Islamabad through the kind and very competent leadership of Marshal Asim. Fuck Pakistan. They are very extraordinary men, continuously thanking me for saving. Okay, fuck Pakistan. I'm not.
Well, guys, I'm gonna leave. The tournament has just started, but I still. And I have a homework. I should really talk to my parents. Then I'll probably go home. I mean, I'm already home.